Hello, friends. I'm Jackie Eicher, and I am here to bring you a message for the 6th week of Lent. Lent is feeling long to me. It is the first day of spring today, which always gives me more hope, and the sun helped this morning too. And Easter is on its way very soon. And I'm glad that you're here with me. I am here with a candle. We always start this way by taking a moment. I'm going to add something today. I'm going to add that you put your feet on the floor and then take a deep breath. I am breathing in God's love. And the next breath, I am a beloved child of God. I hope you really do put your feet on the ground because it's so helpful for me. And I hope that it's also helpful for you to think about what's happening right now, which is we are together and we get to talk about God. We get to talk about Jesus. And we get to talk about loving ourselves. Today's message is from Mark chapter 9, verses 30 through 37. And we're talking about Jesus and his last messages to all of us on earth while he was here on earth. So here's the verses. They went on from there and passed through Galilee. He did not want anyone to know it, for he was teaching his disciples, saying to them, "The Son of Man is to be betrayed into human hands, and they will kill him. And 3 days after being killed, he will rise again." But they did not understand what he was saying, and they were afraid to ask him about it. Then they came to Capernaum, and when he was in the house, he asked them, "What were you arguing about on the way?" But they were silent, for on the way they had argued with one another, who was the greatest. He sat down, called the 12, and said to them, "Whoever wants to be first must be last of all and servant of all." Then he took a little child and put it among them, and taking it in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes not me, but the one who sent me." I want to talk just a little bit about this because I've learned more about this than when I learned it as a child. I heard this story. There's something really important to know about this story and when it took place. Jesus lived during a time on earth when the Roman Empire was in control of Israel. It dominated the whole area. The Roman Empire treasured obedience and worship of the emperor. And the Roman Empire was not pleased with Jesus because Jesus taught a different way of life and people were attracted to his message. He was disruptive because he treasured people, even the people that the Roman Empire hated. Roman authorities became more and more frustrated with Jesus, but he did not back down. This is what Jesus was talking about when he said the Son of Man would be betrayed and killed. The Roman Empire also did not treat children well. According to history and historians, Romans did not believe that children had any human rights. Girls were treated unfairly. They were not allowed to go to school, and they got married very young. Little girls, especially, were not treasured. As Jesus often did while he was teaching, he rejected the idea that children were not to be treasured. And he showed all of us another way. Jesus believed that children were very important. So when the disciples were arguing about which of them was the greatest, Jesus took a child in his arms. He told them if they welcomed a child, they would be welcoming Jesus himself. Jesus could have said to the bickering disciples, "You're all wrong. I am the greatest." But instead, Jesus took a child and raised the child up in his arms, showing them and us the greatness in children. Jesus loved to empower people who were not appreciated. Imagine that this little child in the story is a little girl. She was not allowed to go to school. She did not get to inherit her family's land or business. She did not have any choices. Then Jesus came along and told everyone that she represents the Son of God. I am guessing that she felt treasured that day and honored. All children, including you, deserve to be treated as if they are treasured and should feel treasured by their communities. When we're tempted to argue with each other as adults about who is greatest and the best, who should be in control or make decisions, Jesus shows us people are a true treasure, not being in the number one spot. On days you do not feel like a treasure, share that feeling with someone you trust in your family or a friend so that they can remind you how precious you are and how important you are and how treasured you are, just like Jesus reminded people in the story. And you truly are treasured. I think of you and pray for you during the week. It's hard because we can't be together and I can't tell you this message directly, but I hope that you're listening. I hope that you feel that. And when we do get to be together again, I will remind you. Here are some questions to think about after hearing the story. Think about times when you have felt the most treasured. Not necessarily the most important, but times when someone in your family or in your friend group made you feel like you were very important. And another question is, how do you know that you are valued and treasured in your family? What are some things that you can do when you don't feel very loved? Because I'm sure there are times that that's true for you too. I know one thing that really helps me, this will be no surprise to those of you who have been listening during this past year, but I feel treasured when my dog Pearl decides that she would like to lay next to me or sit on my lap. And it always helps me feel treasured. Okay, there's an activity that you can do as a family, and it's not something that you have to prepare for necessarily, but sometimes grown-ups forget to give children choices or let them help decide family decisions. And when a child doesn't get to make choices, they sometimes can feel powerless, like they don't have any power in the family. What does your family do to show that children's voices are important? Here are some things. You can choose and make dinner for your family with help. Children can. You could set the menu for the family. You could choose an outdoor family activity, and your family could go with you on that activity. You could do an indoor family activity, and it's your choice. Maybe it's a board game. Another one that this would be hard for me because I love doing it myself, but have children, you choose how the furniture is arranged, either in your room or in the family space. You could add so many different things. You could decide which way to go for a walk, or what to eat, or what to do on a Saturday morning. Here's a prayer for all of us as we end this time. Father, Mother, Parent of us all, we are all your precious children, some old, some young. You treasure us in your heart, and nothing can change your love for us. Help us welcome and cherish the children in our lives. Amen. And now, as we close, when we are meeting live, the children I talk with like to help blow the candle out. But before we do that, I would like to add a new part of the ending of our time together. And we usually take a deep breath again. And I'd like you to put your feet on the ground. And I want to give you a blessing. And then the ending. This came from someone named John O'Donohue. May there be kindness when you look within. I am breathing in God's love. I am a beloved child of God. All right, now on the count of 3, help me blow the candle out. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, friends. I will see you next time.